The MEXC cryptocurrency, the ecosystem token by MEXC, is absolutely terrifying. What looks like a pretty 3x in the last year can actually wreck you if you can't hold during those bear markets. Look at this drop over here, minus 96%. That's more than Bitcoin has ever dropped. And just 1 year later, another drop, minus 87%. And the following year, minus 80, and again, minus 77%. Massive crashes that happen frequently, but in some, the MEXC price is going up. We are very close to all-time highs. And what's very interesting around this ecosystem token specifically is that it also outperformed versus Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this is now MEXC relative to ETH. This is something we cannot say for a lot of altcoins. The vast majority of altcoins tend to underperform Bitcoin and Ethereum because of high token inflation and because the utility doesn't outpace whatever new tokens are being printed. This seems to be different, at least for the time being, for this MEXC ecosystem token. There are a lot of hidden risks, right? For example, with FTT, we had FTX borrowing a lot against the FTT token and then it collapsed. We also have regulatory risks, right? We don't really know whenever there is trading fees that get accrued to a token, if that's actually a security, if this will get clamped down by the SEC. If MEXC suddenly gets any kind of lawsuit, similar to Binance, maybe the token can also go down. So there are plenty of opportunities for the next 80 or 90% crash. Thus, I think it's very important to time this token, to try to ride those waves. And I have, again, as usual on this channel, made a backtest. I've backtested the best moving averages for the token. So what we've got here on the x-axis is the duration of the moving average. I tested all the way from 2-day to 200-day. And on the y-axis, we've got the annualized performance. And here we see three moving averages, three simple moving averages that tended to work very well in the past. We've got the 29, the 34, and the 37-day simple moving average. So let's look at those two maybe, 29 and 34. This is how the 34-day simple moving average trading outperformed, just buying and holding. But let's look at this first on the chart. So here we go. Here we've got those two moving averages. The idea is that we buy the token whenever we are above the moving average, and we go 100% in cash, or we even bet on falling prices whenever we are below the moving average. So those are the moving averages that historically distinguished bull and bear market the best from one another, right? So we would be getting long here, would be buying for this 9,250% rally, and then we would be exiting and avoiding this crash of 72%, etc. Sometimes we've got our failed signals, right, where we just buy high and sell low, etc. But that's why we make these kinds of moving average backtests. We simply want to find out what duration for a moving average worked the best. It is for the MEXC token, those two, 29, 37. And so when you go to TradingView, you can simply just do this yourself, right? You simply press /, you enter moving average. Then you add this to the chart, you double click on this, and then you can change the length. Make sure that you select the day duration over here. So currently, those moving averages hover at around $2.31 to $2.28. Because the current rally is so fast, we could drop another 18% or so and still would be bullish according to this trend following strategy. So these bull markets tend to happen with a lot of volatility in the MEXC token. My impression is that this recent rally is also driven by an outperformance of the altcoins in the last 2 or 3 days. In general, altcoins tend to underperform Bitcoin and Ethereum during sideways movements or during bear markets. That's what we have seen in the last months. But in the last 2 or 3 days, we saw a slight rotation and that engaged more trading activity on MEXC. And that might be one of the consequences why the MEXC token is currently going high. As said, I find it very dangerous just buying and holding this. It's very hard to stay invested in something that can crash that much, and where you also don't know the end goal, right? With Bitcoin, we can be very, very safe to simply dollar cost average down whenever things go down like this, because Bitcoin is likely going to stay around. It's likely going to be still relevant 3, 4, 5 years from now. With the MEXC token, we can't really say this. There are those uncertainties and we don't really know how those will get resolved in 4, 5, 6 years. So instead of using this classical approach of dollar cost averaging on the way down, I think it's better to simply just exit whenever momentum turns around, and that's what those moving averages are for. The idea is that you still want to manage your risk in a way, and what better approach could there be than an approach that historically worked well in the past, and that's 100% quantifiable, completely free of any emotions. Let me know what altcoin you want to see next. Join our Telegram, link is down below.